is this one a needle mover for Arsenal?
I don't think it's a needle mover. The kid's a good, talented kid. And what I would say is that when you had other players going around for similar money, I didn't think they would pick Madueke over someone. He went for a similar amount to Mo Kudus. I think Mo Kudus could have moved there, and I think he would have fitted in really well there. But yeah, I don't think it's a needle move. But the kid is a talented kid, and they have had a little bit of history of signing Chelsea players and bringing them good. So, you know, you got Kai Havertz, Jorginho, a little bit, but you know what I mean. They have got that history of you know, bringing the best out of these Chelsea players. And listen, he's a good kid. I don't know whether he's £55 million worth, but he's a decent player. He's a decent player. Only time will tell, Al. You know what I mean. There's not really a lot you can say until we see him play.
Yeah, I think the eye test, you know, he passes that in terms of, does he excite you on the ball? Can he beat a man? Can he knock it back and get an assist? You know, his stats were just on the screen there. I think it's 11 goals in all comps and 6 assists, if I'm right. Let's get it up. Oh, 11 and 5.
Yeah,
I was 1 out. But yeah, still got loads of time to grow. What do you make of the kind of backlash, really, that's happening via the internet, via some disgruntled Arsenal fans that maybe don't want him to join? There's hashtags and petitions. I mean, I do feel for the boy because it's not his fault.
I found that very odd. You know what I mean? Like the man hasn't kicked a ball for your club yet, and you're protesting, and like what you see in what Arsenal are doing today with the Gyokeres stuff, and then now they're looking at Eze and stuff like that. Like, I don't think it's something you need to be protesting over. I think they are strengthening. Does he go in there for squad depth? Probably. And I don't know what there is to whinge about. You know, maybe it's the fact that it's come from Chelsea, but they've done so much business with Chelsea, so I can't see what there's to protest about. Listen, I think Arsenal fans need to let him have a little bit of a bit of breathing space, and before he start, you know, they are a notoriously hostile crowd to their players when they don't. You know, you see what happened with Granit Xhaka at one point, but
Abuwe,
yeah. So you know, give the boy a chance before you start booing him. I mean, he could come good. It's not even like he's bad now. You know what I mean? He's just got in the squad, and
I think he's fallen foul of the timing of this.
Yeah,
and the timing and the context of the situation is Arsenal want and need desperately a number 9, and they're getting that. But don't overreact and think, well, if that's what our business is, I'm fuming. It's like, no, he's one of many options that Arsenal are obviously looking at. They found a deal. He probably doesn't even have to move house, so it suits him. He's getting more money, obviously, and you know, don't write the boy off. I think it's bang out of order, these petitions and the people that would set these up, and he's got to, you know, turn his comments off on Instagram. So listen, it's a difficult one for him, that.
I see Rio Ferdinand. So for a young 23-year-old English footballer to be vilified, bullied, embarrassed and totally stripped down at a time when you're meant to be celebrating a transfer worth £55 million. Yes, a young kid with a dream about to secure a £55 million dream move to a club of his desire, leaving a rival at that to be treated in this manner via section of the Arsenal fans fan base is utter disgrace. Yeah. And I tend to agree with him now. I don't know. Listen, I think social media amplifies it, and you always get the idiots on social media. We're on social media, so you definitely do. But
we're idiots as well.
We're idiots as well. Yeah,
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, you know, I think it's always amplified. But you know, it's always an easy, you know, when you don't get what you want, and that sometimes is Arsenal's problem. We ain't getting what we want, which they are because they've signed him today. But I think they were so worried about the Gyokeres deal, because probably they've seen it break down so many times with strikers and all that they started to sort of vent. You know,
that's not his fault.
It's not his fault. No, it's definitely not his fault. No, I wonder if he's having second thoughts at the minute. You know,
I think there's a fine line between, and I've obviously spoken about this with Laurie in the last week. There's a fine line of going, I mean, he's all right, but we've got 3 other priorities that we need more desperately than him. And then the other part of that line is setting up petitions and saying no to Madueke on Twitter. I mean, you can almost say, we don't need him and I don't really want him, but if we get him, obviously he's in the family and we look after him and he's one of ours and we support him.
You have to.
But the other side of that is obviously taking it way too far and writing him off. And listen, it's a section. of, like Rio says, there's a section of Arsenal in their fan base. It's not every single Arsenal fan, and actually a lot of Arsenal fans disagree with the hashtags and the petitions. So, you've got to give them a chance, and I guess time will tell if it works out to be a good deal. Obviously, their relationship with Chelsea is a weird one. They've taken so many players, including Sterling, which hasn't worked. So on that side, I'm surprised they're going back into that to get Kepa, to get this lad as well. So
can I just say something? Curtis O'Hara here says West Ham fan and Liverpool fan speaking on something they don't have feelings towards. Mate, football's football. We all have feelings towards football, and if it was my club,
our job as well. By the way,
I'd be disgraced with the way my fans were vilifying a signing that we've just bought in. I would feel ashamed of it. So of course we have feelings.
Similar to Kai Havertz.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, the timing when he came in, they were looking for a number 9 as well, and they got him, and they had to make do. He's turned out okay. I think it's a little bit extreme.
Scored more goals than anyone else, mate. Scored more goals than anyone else.
On better news for Arsenal fans, in terms of what they believe is more of a priority, is that striker, the player, is currently in Arsenal. Apparently, I did see on Twitter, someone had on the webcam of the motorway spotted his Mercedes Vito van that he's in, currently travelling to London Colney.
Yeah.
So I do think he is there, getting it all signed, sealed and delivered.
I'll tell you what, some of the things that I see, the way they track players and that through
plane trackers and
all that. Yeah, this is what the plane is on, and he's coming to. It's crazy. Vito. How do you know what Vito van is in?
It look like a Sprinter, or how do you even know? Number plates and whatnot as well. So his agent, pretty much foregoed quite a bit of money. This has been a mess, to be honest, this transfer, but initially the release clause was 60 mil, there or thereabouts. Then they had a gentleman's agreement. If a big club comes in, we'll say, for the release clause, many clubs have wanted to trigger it and almost be the first one in the queue to get him, first come, first serve. But then the relationship between him and the sporting director has soured badly, because he said, hang on, you gave me a gentleman's agreement, I can go. Now you're asking them for 85, 90. It's like, no, that's not the deal. But it wasn't on paper. So now it's got to a point where he's not turning up for pre-season. It's completely broken down.
But what do you think about these sort of things?
Player power.
Yeah, I know it's player power, and I know there's a gentleman's agreement, but the club have got to be entitled to get as much money as they can. Arsenal have got 65, 75, 85 billion. They've got it to spend, and they've just spent 55 on Madueke.
So are you saying, unless it's on paper, the gentleman's agreement means nothing?
Listen, I think Declan Rice had a gentleman's agreement. You know what I mean? Like, it isn't like, I know he's done very well. I know he's repaid Sporting tenfold for what they paid for him, but a gentleman's agreement is a gentleman's agreement. I think the club have also got a right to turn around and say, we need to replace you, and you're worth a lot more money than what they're offering. So turning up to training, I think it's
balls away, metaphorically.
And all that sort of stuff. I don't agree with that. I think that it's got to work for every part of the club. You know what I mean? So
and I understand
got to work for both parties.
The side which is, well, what if we want more money than the release clause? But if it is triggered, listen, he gets his move in the end, and Coventry and Brighton receive fees for this due to the sell-on clauses that go back, obviously, some years.
So who's it?
Coventry and Brighton. I actually saw him play for Coventry in the playoff final.
He was brilliant for Coventry. Yeah,
and
he
Gustavo
was.
Haber for Cov, but then he went to Sheffield United and he needs to move on again. But obviously, listen, Gyokeres gets his chance now. This is the biggest club he might ever play for. He's got one chance to go and deliver Arsenal the title. This signing has to deliver Arsenal the title, does it not? Because otherwise, 3 times in a row second, you're not signing to finish second again.
Yeah, he's got to. He's got to.
It has to happen.
This is supposed to be the missing part of the puzzle, right? So this is meant to be the one that gets him over the line. I was all saying it last year, and I totally, not last year, the year before, number 9, and they would have won the league. This is the number 9. They've also signed in. He's here, yeah. So there's no more excuses now. There's no more excuses. You know what I mean? Like, this is do or die for Mikel Arteta. Like, if he doesn't come up trumps this year, then the chairman's well within his right to turn around and go, I've given you everything.
Mate, I've taken you as far as you can go. You need to start delivering now. There's no more excuses. We needed this, we needed that. They've got a world-class defence. They've got a world-class midfield. And now they should have a world-class attack. If you don't deliver trophies this year,
game over.
Yep, the fee's been agreed, and again, not someone to come in and start every week, but a good young backup centre back for Arsenal, a bit more depth.
Yeah. Listen, he definitely ain't coming into. He's definitely coming in to be a backup.
His role there, yeah.
Like, you know, I see people in the chat saying there's nothing about world class about Arsenal. Listen, they've got a world class right winger, they've got a world class pair of centre backs. Simple as that. They've got a world class midfielder in Declan Rice. There is world class in there.
You need about 7 or 8.
You need about 7 or 8
to win the league. Arsenal, yes, they've potentially got a borderline world class goalie. They've got Saliba and Gabriel, who I think are world class.
They are world class, yeah.
Declan Rice is world class. Odegaard isn't world class.
Can be on his day. Can be on his day,
yeah,
but not consistent enough.
Not consistently.
Saka is world class.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So that's 5 or 6. And yes, that's on paper.
But if Gyokeres comes in, he's world
7
class.
or 8 or 9.
Eze, I think, can be classed as world class.
Leads me on perfectly to my next topic within Arsenal. We're still looking at Eze. The player is back from holiday. He was playing chess, I think, with Richard Branson. Did you see that in Mallorca?
Yeah.
That was brilliant. And he's agreed personal terms with the club, allegedly. But the rumours are that Palace are now heavily interested in Reece Nelson. Could he be used as a make-weight to make this deal happen? And is Eze still the player? Because even him, there's question marks over, is he an out-and-out left winger? Could you look at a Rodrigo and spend that money on him instead?
Yeah.
Rodrigo. Should they still be looking at Eze if they've just bought him?
I would buy Eze. I think he's the sure bet. I would buy Eze. If I had a choice between him and Rodrigo, Rodrigo's a fantastic player, but there's no guarantees you come from Madrid and come straight over to the Premier League and hit the ground running.
Yeah.
I think if you buy Eze, you know what you're getting, and you're going to get that. You know, Rodrigo. It's good on paper. I think people like Rodrigo. It's good on paper, and it does work sometimes. You know, Ozil come over and he tore the league apart. He really did. He was world class. So.
Yeah, he was.
No, Payet come over and he tore the world. But there are players that come over and they don't quite hit the ground running. Not saying that they can't bed into the league. The league is a hard league. It's a hard league. I was only listening to Troy Deeney the other day saying about the difference between when he came from, I know it's Championship, when he came from the Championship to the Premier League, he couldn't get near the ball, couldn't get near it. It's a very fast and very physical league.
That clip as well.
Yeah, and it's sometimes some of the players, they're just not built for the Premier League. They just ain't. It's not that they're not good players. They're just not. With Eze, you know what you're getting. You know, he has played. He has done it.
5 years he's been.
5 years he's been at Palace now. We wanted to buy him. It was between him and Ben Rama. We signed him. We chose Ben Rama, or it maybe he chose Palace. One of the two. But he's been fantastic, consistent. He's probably been. He had that little spell under Zaha. Probably learnt a lot from Zaha because Zaha was really good as well.
And Elise as well.
Elise as well last season. But them two have left, and he's stepped up, and he's the man. He's just scored them the winning goal in an FA Cup final.
Folklore, instant
the only trophy they've ever won.
Yeah, there's an argument now to say he's the best ever Crystal Palace player ever. Also on Arsenal, Ethan Nwaneri, the talks are positive for his new deal. He will sign it, despite allegedly Borussia Dortmund offering him a project that was similar to Jude Bellingham's in terms of, you almost come in and be the main boy.
Yeah.
And that must have been an attractive option. He must have had a think about it. I think from his side of things and his agent and his team, they'll look at the season he broke through in as being like, right, what a great almost pedestal to go from here. But then he just didn't get played or didn't get brought on enough last season. So I know he's still had a few moments of brilliance, but has he regressed in terms of opportunities? And will part of his decision to sign this deal, he might want a bit of a promise to say, look, man, if I'm signing this new deal, I want minutes.
He's got to get minutes. He's got to get minutes. As you say, like a couple of flashes of brilliance last season. But at the end of the day, you need more minutes. So if you're going to sign a new deal, if he's signing a new deal on the same, and they can't promise him more minutes, then he's mad.
No, he's got to sign that new deal, and he needs minutes. But Arsenal fans, let us know: is he ready? I think he is. Is he ready to show a little bit more of what he's got? I think he's got a new squad number of 22 instead of 53 or something. So he's obviously well thought of. But
I think when you see that,
it's a sign.
It's a sign. Yeah,
stay with us.
You are in our plans.
Yeah,
you are in.
Let's see. Positive indications at this stage when it comes to Ethan Nwaneri's new contract.